So, can you tell us about the impact that technology has had on policing strategies and will in the future?
Definitely. Well, the way that most cities' budgets are in current disarray, most police chiefs just don't have the luxury of unlimited manpower and overtime. Where technology comes in, for instance, our camera setup, there's nothing that could ever replace old-fashioned police investigation. However, those cameras enhance their investigation because sometimes, even with good detective work, you don't have a focus of your investigation. Sometimes a camera might capture a crime in progress, or more often than not, a camera several blocks away might capture a fleeing suspect or a fleeing suspect's vehicle. And also, at the scene of a crime, sometimes potential witnesses are observed in these camera images.
Is there anything else that you might want to talk about that you think speaks to the importance or the value of data, of technology?
Oh, yeah, certainly. Well, there's a lot of police departments collect a lot of data, but historically that data was somewhere, where now that data is being utilized to address crime patterns, the latest technology with hotspot mapping. Usually those maps kind of validate what officers on the street will feel that a certain area has a lot of either drug dealing or maybe a robbery pattern, or that crime's actually shifted. But through all that software, when you have a good crime analyst that's plugging all that data, and again, in our department, that's a civilian position because I just don't have the luxury to have a sworn police officer sitting behind a desk crunching numbers all day. But a crime analyst, that's his only job. So being able to have any type of mapping, any type of crime analysis, trying to push towards real crime data. So all of those things just assist, especially the patrol division of the department. When they have their daily roll call, they need to get a clear picture of what things they should be looking at. How we did it in the early to mid-90s, you collected data and at the end of the month you looked at it. Well, that's not very useful anymore because, you know, some of these crime patterns occur for 2 or 3 days and then they're gone. So if you're looking at it 2 or 3 weeks later, you've kind of missed the boat. So as you push towards real crime data, you can address those patterns as they happen.
So it helps you focus your resources.
It absolutely does. It absolutely does. And, you know, we have to really watch every penny we spend, and we can't spend it like drunken sailors. So we really have to focus on budget restraints, and a lot of that technology alleviates some of that burden for us. So
if technology costs money, how do you justify the investment?
Well, fortunately, there's a lot of grants available to us. Grants from the Justice Department. There's private funding. We have a police foundation that helps us. For instance, we hired a crime analyst, but he needed a software package to allow him to do his job. We were able to get that money through the police foundation so we could get that software. We also got some software for some grants. And that's what we have, plate reader technology now. That's been through grants. So if you took away all the outside funding, we would be, 40 years in the past at this point.
Is there anything that you would advise another department to do if they're just looking at what they can do to include emerging technologies and that sort of thing, and they're not quite sure where to go?
Well, for camera technology, if they're starting from the ground floor, it would benefit them to explore having that civilianized and maybe even a separate entity from the police department with some strict oversight. The other, having an excellent grant writer what allows you to get some of those tools that a city budget just cannot support. So excellent grant writing, and then if you don't have a police foundation, start one. I mean, we modeled ours after New York City, and it's been extremely successful. I mean, our police foundation, for instance, we had one of our mounted horses became very ill and was near death. And we sent him to University of Pennsylvania's Bolton Center. He had emergency surgery, which cost $8,000. Well, the police foundation was willing to support that, but they had a few fundraisers, and to date they've raised almost $30,000. So in addition to the needs for surgery, we raised even more money for the mounted unit. So that's literally what keeps our mounted unit running, is the private funding.